on a variety of places on their journey. And when we start explaining interferences within the body, physical things are super easy to understand. Big slips, falls, car crashes, and how we can move our body will start bringing us back into alignment. Or mental emotional things. If patterns have been going on for a long time, we have a lot of negative self-talk, or we went through a really big divorce, or we were financially unstable, like those things are so easy to understand. But I think when it comes to the chemicals, how that interferes and interacts with our body is a little bit of a gray area, or at least it was for me, because I think for me, we talk about 80-20 a lot, and 80% of the time doing all the right things. 20% of the time, my family owned a pizza shop, and like I had pizza and beer every once in a while. And I think whenever I met you, Monica, I met Lauren, but I met you like pretty soon after. It was like, I thought I was 80-20, and it turned out I was more like 60-40 in the wrong direction. So I feel like highlighting that it's not just the drugs we're taking or the bad foods that we're eating, but the daily interferences within our system. I think you are the queen of talking about this stuff.
I am so excited for this conversation. This is near and dear to my heart. So the reason why we wanted to bring this up, we have signs in the office that say, like, please minimize fragrance use, which is what we're going to talk about today. Fragrance is an avoidable interference to our system. So like Erica said, like people come to our office and they're basically wanting to heal from the past. And so we're really like integrating, we're processing what has been and what is, what's happening every single day, interacting with people, my job. But another thing that we're processing is the things that we're eating, the things that we're smelling, the things that we're exposing our largest organ to, which is our skin, every single second of every single day. So if we remove the things that are toxic that we're putting on and around and in our body, it's going to allow our nervous system to be freed up to process the past more efficiently and be more adaptable, like moving forward. And
I think it's funny too, because we talk about like people that come under care for a little bit. We call it like the REV glow up a little bit, where they like lose weight or like something crazy happens, like their skin starts equalizing, I don't know if that's the word for it, but like just feels like they get more blood flow to their face, and they'll say like, I lost like 5 pounds, 7 pounds, haven't been doing anything. And I'm like, isn't it interesting that like all those toxins in our body are literally causing our body to not be so clear? So whenever you do get adjusted, it's like your system goes through an entire detox process. And I think a lot of the things that you're putting in matter. And at the time for me, like whenever I first met you, I feel like I knew like, don't use perfume, and I didn't understand like even like deodorants that I was using, or like candles, or like literally anything like that. It was like I went really minimal on that way, but I feel like there's a way to go between just radically I'm done with all of it to like there's healthy options to start supporting your body, and I feel like that's kind of what you've enlightened me to, at least.
Yes. And it's 2024, so like there's so many healthy options for like clean deodorants, clean candles, even cleaner perfumes, so where you don't have to just stop wearing everything all together and maybe you stink or something like that. Like we can have both basically. But so when I learned about this was 15 years ago. There was not many like healthier brands around, but I'll kind of say why this even happened. So at 21 was when I learned about the importance of really like cultivating the health and wellness of my nervous system. Like I just did not know. That concept changed my life. Within that, I learned about toxins and how toxins really interfere with our nervous system. They mess with our hormones. They are carcinogens, which cause cancer-causing agents, all of these things. And for me, I was like mind blown. I mean, the first time you learn that the stuff on the shelf is not necessarily safe is a moment where your jaw drops to the ground. And if you haven't heard this before, you're hearing it now. This is just how it works. Like there's hardly any regulation with products that go into the ingredients that go into the products that we're using on our body, or like even cleaning our house with. Like it's kind of like the wild, wild west where anything goes, and we have to be our own advocates as far as looking at the ingredients and seeing, is this something I want to bring into my house, put on or around my body? And that is a tough space for people because they can't understand why it's not safe if it's in the stores.
And it's like interesting to me too, because I think that people that go on this journey, that eventually along the line somewhere starts to come up where they're like, my mom specifically, she was just in town and she's like, she's newer to the journey. I'm guiding her the best I can, but things like perfume for her are still hard, where she's like, I'll stop using perfume. And I feel like if I were to use anything else outside of that one perfume, I'm gonna get a headache. And I was like, the more we start stepping into like that 100% optimal health, optimal vitality, like adaptability, like our system kind of knows. And whenever people get on the table, like I think everybody comments on like the essential oils on your hands smell amazing. And I'm like, they're starting to attune to what's actually supporting their body. And then whenever they go further down the journey, it's like, that really poses big questions of like, what was I using before? And how is that interfering with everything else around me? And it's like, our nervous system's our perception system. So if we're clear within, we start to see outside of us what starts to take us down that scale, so to speak.
Yes. And I think at some point along everyone's wellness journey, like, you know, they start here, they begin working with their nervous system, processing the past, integrating, becoming more whole. And at some point, most people are like, you know, I'm actually starting to become more mindful of what I'm using on my body, what I'm putting in my body. And I think that's a really interesting and beautiful phenomenon that happens, because we just begin to be more mindful of like our body temple and like the connection that we have to it, and that we are in control of it. And that's an interesting and beautiful place to be.
Even just like the 5 senses, like I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. We're helping bring more awareness for people. And in these 5 senses, it's like, if you can't smell, like how do you even know if it's toxic? Like if Lauren and I were just eating the other day and there was like this cheese and I'm like, I'm smelling it. And I'm like, she's like, it's not expired, anything like that. I'm like, it just smells off. And I feel like for me, like I have that internal meter because I've kind of cut out a lot of the things that aren't good for me. So whenever I do something that feels out of alignment, I know immediately.
So let's talk about perfume in particular, because this is like a hot topic, especially for women, but not just women exclusively, because men wear cologne, and also fragrance is in many more things than just perfume. But let's just speak to perfume in particular so that it's like a tangible thing that you can begin to look at. I grew up on perfume. I mean, I wore Burberry, I can't even remember all the brands. I would have like 6 or 7 beautiful perfume bottles in my bathroom. I mean, I would just like, in Bath and Body Works all day long. That's
all the lotions.
Just what I did. And then when I was 21 was when I began to understand these things are actually really harmful to my body. And I was like, whoa, I'm extremely radical, which you may know. I completely removed everything. And then from there, I've been fragrance free for that entire time, so 15 years. And now when I smell fragrance, it's not essential oil scents, fragrance, it feels like this insult to my nervous system, to where I know it's not cultivating the connection within. And so if I'm smelling that on somebody else's body, imagine what it's doing to your own body.
Literally.
And so fragrance in itself is actually an umbrella term, and it houses up to about 3,000 different ingredients. So it's actually just like, it's saying fragrance, but they can put anything under that umbrella term without having to disclose their trade secret scent. So within those 3,000 ingredients, there is often phthalates and carcinogens, which are extremely harmful to our central nervous system, to our hormones, and they can really interfere with like fertility, energy levels, sleep, all of these things. So just simply stopping is like monumental to your health, and like people feel it, and people are like also like, I mean, I wear perfume all the time, like why do I have to stop? I don't feel like any different when I put it on. This is because we actually become acclimated to our level of toxicity. So if we're wearing something every single day, we become accustomed to it. Just like Erica's mom was saying, like, you know, I wear the same perfume every day, and if I wear a different one, that's when I get a headache, because her body is accustomed to the whatever perfume she's wearing on a regular basis. So that's exactly what's happening to our bodies. We don't even know the disturbance that's happening until it actually is removed. And then when you smell it again, this is what happens. You're like, oh my, wow. That is really strong.
That's truly the experience I had with all of that. And at first in the beginning, I was like, am I gonna like stink? Like I think I wasn't aware of like laundry detergent specifically, like my clothes kind of smelling like that and that being in contact with my skin. And I'm like, what do I use then? Am I gonna stink? And is the move, I don't know if you have the answer for this, but like, is the move cutting something out first, or is the move supporting your body with like essential oils? Or what would you tell somebody that was like just hearing this for the first time? What would be the first step? Okay,
first of all, I know this is a lot of information because she just brought in the laundry component.
Yeah,
so like,
sorry.
A fragrance is kind of like sugar. If you've gone into like down the food rabbit hole, like sugars and everything, fragrances and everything. So as far as like what she said about laundry, like touching our body, again, skin is our largest organ. So actually there's no, like, it's a direct route to our bloodstream is through our skin. Actually through our nose is direct route to our brain. So what we're breathing in is directly being exposed to our nervous system, our body, our bloodstream, but also what we're putting on our skin. Think creams, lotion, deodorant, makeup, skincare, all of those things. laundry, whatever's touching our largest organ, basically. But from here, I think it's just looking at your bathroom and just looking at your perfume and how often are you wearing it. If this is once in a while, I would say still don't do it. You know what I mean? Because to me, my health is my #1 value, so I'm not gonna put something on my body that's going to interfere with my nervous system. I just want to be my best self, and I know that, you know, toxins in particular dim our vibration. And this is all, like, our journey at REV is all about helping people to express their greatest self and achieve their greatest vibration, basically, i.e. consciousness. So from there, I would say you could transition to essential oils, but that's not everyone's jam.
Yeah.
I love essential oils. You guys know we're all about essential oils. They're all over the office, because to me they smell amazing and they synergize with our body, and they're from the earth. So they have amazing benefits to our body in all the ways. But I just think they also smell amazing, and they just, again, work synergistically with our body and our wellness. So you could start there.
Yeah, I feel like one of the words you shared with me, I never even heard this word before I met you, was body burden.
Yes.
And like, I think for me, whenever I radically removed everything, the body burden, like I could feel that. Like I could feel where there was, I wasn't thinking so clearly, or like whenever I'm hearing that about my nose, I'm like, no wonder I was having headaches at that point or whatever was going on. But whenever I think about like body burden, it just makes me think I would do less. Like I would do less of whatever was accumulating like that, so that my nervous system could actually do what it's meant to do.
Yeah, so body burden is basically like the sum of the toxins that are residing within your body. And we're exposed to toxins everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unavoidable, and it's not something to be afraid of, but we just want to minimize what we are exposed to, because our body's designed to detox every second of every day through multiple organ systems. So like, we're doing the thing, but if we have too many toxins that we're putting on constantly, I mean, on average, women are putting 3,000 different ingredients on their body every single day. So like, if you look at the bottom of like a shampoo bottle, there's like, what, 25 ingredients? Okay, right there, 25. Hairspray, 25, 30, lotion. So all these things add up that we're being exposed to. And if we have too many things that are not clean, it's just a lot for our body to process. And it basically, we become like sludgy. We feel heavy. We feel like this brain fog. We're not sleeping right, our hormones are off. Like that's when it's kind of like this cascade that happens from just too much that we're processing.
And like, we're in a 2024 world, like there's like EMF and like Wi-Fi and like all this stuff that we're constantly moving through. I'm like, I wonder how efficiently because some people do know that. They're like, they have like all the bracelets, EMF stuff, and then they're like wearing...
Some people do.
Yeah, but then they're wearing like lotion or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're kind of counterintuitive here with what's actually going on, because I think the goal is not to radically like not ever be exposed to anything. Like our body's meant to detox, like you said, but how quickly do we detox through things, I think, is how well aligned our system is. And this is just like simple tools for me to start looking at around my life, around my house, around my bathroom, that I'm like, where can I clean this up?
And I feel like the 80-20 rule that she was talking about in general, are we talking about food or in general?
I feel like in general, I was talking about
They might not even know what 80-20 is. So.
Yeah, I can explain a little bit more about that. Whenever I say 80-20, I'm just talking about like, we're not like radical 100%. I am going to eat clean every single day of the week, do all the things. Like we're friends, we're family, we hang out a lot. We're, like I said, I grew up with a pizza shop family, and I think it would be an emotional deprivation to me to not have that pizza once in a while. But I think 80-20, if we're doing our best 80% of the time, the other 20% of the time, our body can start to move through a lot more efficiently, because we already have kind of backlogged all of the rest of it.
So 80-20 can be used for also like, let's say you're a female and you just like, there's some things you're just not going to compromise on. Like some women, I have a lot of friends that they just want to continue to do their hair, like dye their hair. And it's really hard to find clean hair dye, especially if you're, covering grays and stuff like that. So I just feel like 80% of the time, like do your best, like choose the cleanest products. And then 20% of the time, if you want to get your nails done or get your hair and that lights up your soul, do that. I'm not about to be that person that's like, nope, you can't even do that. Like that again kind of leads to like that deprived feeling of just like, it can breed anger and resentment and just like, doesn't feel good. So I think we have to have a balance, but also a majority of the time, just being mindful of what we're exposing our body to, because it really, really does matter. And it's all cumulative. So it builds up and builds up and builds up.
it becomes like a wager for me of like, does this feel like the 20% that I want to be investing in? And if it's like having fun with you guys, like absolutely, let's go get a beer. But if it's like something where it's like, I can't smell, I can't move, I can't think, I can't breathe, I'm like, what is this even doing for me anyways? Like, it's not a 20% that I'm willing to invest in, so to speak, is what I ask myself.
Yes. So in summary,
we can get onto a lot of this, honestly.
Yeah, there's so much more to this, but just to wrap back up to the perfume thing, it's just being aware of what you are putting on your body, but perfume in particular, maybe even switching to essential oils, and or maybe even just taking a week-long break. Just do that.
Yeah.
Take a week-long break, and then maybe apply it. If you're just in love with it, apply it and see how you feel, because I feel like from there, most people that take a break, instantly they feel like this slight dull headache coming on, or they just feel kind of anxious. You begin to become attuned to what your body's experiencing all the time once you have that break, and it just becomes more clear. And then from there, if you're like, you know what, this doesn't feel in alignment with where I'm going anymore, maybe I do want to try some essential oils. We are here for all of that, and we're here for all the questions.
We're covered in oils, as you guys know, pretty much all the time.
But we just wanted to give you guys some tangible things to take away as far as why perfume is not something that we choose to wear, nor do we support with our clients in the office, because it just doesn't cultivate wellness.
Yeah. So I think to wrap it up, Monica is a plethora of knowledge for all of this stuff. If you guys are in the office, she has a Facebook group, Revved Up Mama, that's awesome, that I literally direct everybody to. They start asking me these questions, and I'm like, I know what I know. Monica truly knows what I don't know, and she has been doing this for so many years now at this point that Revved Up Mama is a really great page for you guys. Coming in here and just having these conversations, we have things all around the office, like limiting perfumes for a reason, and I think more than that, just staying curious. So if you're a Rev client, if you're watching this, follow Monica's page, step into this, be curious about it. If you're not, follow us here. We're going to be doing a lot more videos like this. I think we have a lot more to talk about on interference that we can start mitigating.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.